All right.
Somewhere on Instagram.
We'll take questions around the room. Alvaro, right in the middle on one.
Alvaro Martin of Ritmo. The team had, I think, 700 different five-man lineups during the regular season, more than many, many other teams, especially teams that didn't have big trades or injuries. You've been on the court, even in these finals, with a five-man group that had never played before together. You have a role as the leader of the team. What is it like from your perspective? Okay, we've got this group, and my role has to change, and we have to look out for this. How does that feel, and what gives you confidence that whatever the coach throws at you, you're ready?
Ooh, I'm going to try to keep this not as long of an answer, but I think just over the course of my time here, I've had to evolve really fast, and I think that's made me a really good player. So I've been in so many different positions on the team that it's helped me get to the point where when you say our lineup was different, I don't even really notice that. You know what I mean? So, and then we have a group of guys that are just ready to play. So everybody's kind of waiting for their opportunity. Like you said, we have so many different lineups just throughout the course of the year that nobody's shocked by when Mark is wants to go small or change this around or do that. So we just have a bunch of guys that have had experience doing that. And just over the course of time, you kind of don't really notice it, and you're just more ready to play and ready when your number's called. And I think that's what makes our team special. And just kind of from there, it's just go out and play and just do whatever it takes to win. And I think everybody's kind of accepted where their role is and how they can help the team.
Nick in the middle.
Dub, you guys have used so many different things over the course of the last few years as a challenge to overcome. Even in this playoffs, it was coming out of the locker room at halftime, playing better in third quarters. How do you view this experience here, coming on the road for Game 3 and having an opportunity to play at a really high level in a Game 3?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret our Game 3s haven't been the best. So, but it's also, to your point, it's an opportunity. And Mark is always talking about how if it's the finals, if it's the third week in January on a random Tuesday and we're not even on TV, how can you get better through the experiences that we play? And that's kind of how we look at it. We're just trying to get better every single game. Obviously, we're trying to win as well, but every single time you try and go out there and you look back at your film and you're we got better tonight or we got worse, and we're always trying to get better.
Dan, second row over here.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. You've seen the bulk of the Siakam matchup on defensively through the first couple of games. What do you know about him now that you didn't know 2 games ago? And when you're trying to deal with limiting his paint touches, and how have you been effective in doing that?
For me, defense, I don't really notice having the bulk guarding him, just because defense is so team oriented. I can only do my part correctly, which is just make it tough for him. And obviously there's some scouting and analytical stuff that goes into playing defense against somebody that good and somebody that can affect the game with their scoring. But I think it really just revolves around when you have other guys on the team that are talented, you try and make it really tough as a unit for them. And I think my team has done a good job just being there for me when I'm beat. And, you try not to get beat as much, obviously, but I think it just comes down to team defense, getting ready to rotate. He's a good player. He's going to find shots. He's going to make tough shots. It's just how hard can you make it over the course of a series for him to get to the spots he likes and do that sort of thing.
Next row back on this side.
Hi, Jalen. Tencent from China. So you guys are such a young and talented team, reaching the finals in the early stage of your career. People can't help but draw a comparison with the Thunder, with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. Does that give you extra pressure or motivation? What's your thought on that?
No, I mean, it doesn't really do too much for me, except the fact that it's just cool. Growing up, what was I? I was probably 12 when they were playing around there. To go from watching them reach that point and then to end up being on the team that's in the same position as them, it's just it's more of a blessing, just a dream come true. It's I just played Russell Westbrook in the playoffs, and obviously he's a cornerstone of this like organization. So it's like I just try and take those little things that come with it and just be really happy and thankful for it. It doesn't really add any pressure or any kind of like motivation. It's just really cool that I get to be in this position.
Last question here in the front.
Michael Martin, Let's Talk Thunder. Dub, after the Memphis series, you credited sort of a new mentality and mindset, being aggressive. How's that sort of evolved, and how have you been able to maintain that through 4 rounds?
It's kind of like one of those, if it's not broke, don't fix it things. Like, I think once I kind of got my mentality to switch and just understand how the playoffs are called, how like the consistencies, like physicality in the playoffs is, I think it just was something that I found that works. And you can't really like come out soft or like timid during these, you know what I mean? Because the other team everybody's playing like their life is on the line. So I think just me being able to play that way and shift my focus to that has really kind of helped me evolve just throughout the playoffs. And, you know, like I said, there's ups and downs throughout the whole thing. So if I can just stay pretty consistent and even throughout it, I'll be fine.
Thank you, Jalen. Practice for the Thunder will be open for the next few minutes.